hearing shame come up not only in my devotional time with God, but also just online, different places. So I felt like it was important to discuss this, and I didn't realize until I started processing it. I had kind of forgot that this is something, or didn't really realize this is something that, man, I was dealing with this heavy a few years ago. And this is something I'm still, having to guard against and walk out. But I didn't realize how much this had affected me, especially high school, relationships, different things of that nature. So I want to kind of shine a light on shame and kind of discuss what it does, its effects. The first thing I want to talk about is how it causes like a hiding behavior. So it causes you to try to shield and protect yourself versus relying on trusting in God to protect you. So I remember just being so ashamed of myself. I've always been heavier set and you guys know how it is growing up, but I was picked on so much in middle school. By the time I got to high school, it was just my self-esteem was just not existent. So I just remember, especially the first few years, I think it got better as time went on, but not being able to walk with my head high in the hallway, just head down low, looking at the ground. I was so ashamed to eat in the cafeteria. I was ashamed. I would not get up to turn my paper in at class. I was just so ashamed of my body and ashamed of who I was. And I didn't know, I didn't know who I was. I didn't really have any kind of direction at that point. But, and you know what? Lately I've realized, with the pandemic, guys, I put on some pounds in the pandemic. And you know what? I found myself trying to go back into that kind of hiding place. So you guys know with the mask, it's so funny how much shame God has been highlighting the pandemic to me, and shame, the mask and being muzzled. But honestly, guys, some days I was I'm glad we have these masks right now, because I need to go in this store. And honestly, my self-esteem has been taking a hit this morning. So I'm glad I can put on this mask and hide and feel like it might be a mental thing, feel like I'm hiding or feel like I'm not being seen. Guys, this is what shame does. It wants you to hide. It wants you to hide yourself. And if we're hidden, we can't do what God calls us to do. If we're hidden, if we're muzzled, if we're in the back, if we're not speaking, then if we're not drawing, because the God's call on you may draw attention to you. Shame doesn't want the attention; it wants to hide. So that's what I was doing my whole life, just hiding, attempting to draw attention, attempting to not draw attention, attempting to hide in the back, attempting to avoid any kind of don't look at me type thing. I'm so ashamed, don't look at me, don't notice me. I'm going to quiet myself so that I'm not heard or seen. It's just hiding. I need to hide. I need to be hidden. I need to be not seen. I need to be protected. If I'm hidden, I'm protected. I'm protected from humiliation. I'm protected from people picking on me. I'm protected from people making fun of me. If I can hide, I won't be seen. I won't be noticed, and I'll be safe. And that's the lie that shame gives us, because who is supposed to be our hiding place? God. God is supposed to be our shield. The word says, "You, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory, and the lifter of my head." So how I was walking in the hall with my head down, God is the lifter of my head. He's my shield. That's who we're supposed to seek protection in, not self-protection by other means, by having hiding behaviors. And we have to trust God. If we're going to walk in it, it's going to require trust. So, and I'm noticing lately so many things, so many promises from God, they require trust. If I want peace, I'm going to have to trust him. If I want to not be clothed in shame, I'm going to have to trust him. It's so many other things. I might get into that later, but man, there's so many other things that is just trust. It just all revolves around trust. There's also a verse, Psalms 34:5, that said, those who look for him for help will be radiant with joy. No shadow of shame will darken their faces. So we were talking about shame being darkness. Shame is a shadow of darkness. It darkens your face. It darkens your face. And what's the opposite? They said, trusting in him, your face will be radiant with joy. Radiance versus darkness, right? Man, this is, I was amazed when I saw that out and laid out in the word. So, the thing about shame and darkness, and shame being darkness, it is the hiding, but it kind of keeps, it's built on the lie, first of all, and it kind of keeps that lie in darkness. It keeps us away from people. It keeps us from speaking. So we can't speak our truth. We can't say, hey, I'm feeling ashamed about this. It keeps us from speaking the truth. It keeps us from other people, isolating from other people, isolating from attention. So it's kind of keeping that lie. And the darkness is protecting the lie. It's darkness. It's a shield but it's darkness. It's protection and darkness versus protection and light. So it keeps us from the truth. I did a series a while back about that I need to record, but it's about how isolation is a hindrance to truth. And that's exactly what shame does. It works in that. It works with that. It uses that isolation to its advantage. It isolates us so that we don't get the truth in our situation. And not only from other people, not only from not having other people speak truth in our life, but also from God. We need him. If I do something and I've taken that on as my identity, my act has become my identity now, I'm going to hide from God, who is the one who can help me. And he can't bring truth into my situation. He can't help me because I'm hiding it from him. I'm hiding it from others, and I'm hiding it from him. That's why shame, it seeks to protect us in darkness, but it's not protection at all. It's not a protection. It's a false protection. It's not helping anything. It's not changing anything. It's a false protection. It's not a shield. It's a hindrance. So this is the first thing, protection in darkness. Shame is a protection in darkness. So how do we, like I said, how do we combat that? We begin to trust in God. We trust him to be our shield, trust him to be our protection. I remember when I started realizing this, I said, you know what, God? I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you to not let me be put to shame. I'm going to trust you to not let me be dishonored. I'm going to trust you to protect me from debasement. And the word even talks about, even if we do, if I'm fearing man, if I'm fearing being, in my case, if I'm fearing humiliation and dishonor, you are my comforter. He said, why should I fear mere mortals who are, I don't want to get the scripture messed up. I don't want to combine two scriptures. I feel like I'm starting to do that. But it talks about God, like not fearing man, because God, is our comforter. Like, you're my comforter. So why should I fear them? You're my comforter. If I do encounter that, you're my comforter. You're there. You're faithful. So I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you to protect me from that. And so my face is going to be radiant with joy. Darkness, I'm not going to clothe myself in darkness. I'm not going to be hidden in darkness. My face is not going to have a dark cloud, a shadow of shame. My face is not going to have a shadow of shame, but I'm going to be radiant with joy as I trust in you. So guys, that's the first video. This is the first video that talks about protection and darkness, shame as a false protection. Be blessed.